Hey everyone, I'm Techie and welcome back to AI Tech Hub. Let's jump right into today's explainer because we're tackling something absolutely crucial for your cloud architecture, the virtual private cloud. If you've been hanging out with us for past explainers, you know I'm all about taking these huge complex systems and breaking them down into super clear mental models. And today, we're going to build a model that will literally change how you see your cloud setup and how you protect your most valuable digital assets. So here's the big puzzle for today. What on earth is a VPC? And how does it actually fit in with the IAM and security groups we've already covered? It's a really great question. You know, when you start building in the cloud, people throw these terms around like confetti. We've dug into IAM, we've looked at security groups, but where exactly does the virtual private cloud sit in all of that? How do they work together to keep you safe? To really get this, we're going to step away from the digital world for a second and imagine something physical. Which brings us to part 1. Welcome to the campus. Okay, I want you to picture this. You are designing your very own massive, private, gated business campus. You're the chief architect here. You've got this huge plot of empty land, and it is entirely up to you to figure out how this sprawling headquarters is going to operate from the ground up. You hold all the blueprints. You decide exactly where the roads go. You choose which buildings are placed right up front with direct public street access for, visitors or delivery trucks, and which ones are those highly sensitive, hidden backlot buildings with zero street access. Everything in this physical campus operates exactly the way you tell it to. All right, so let's translate that physical campus straight into the cloud. Now that we've got that physical campus mapped out in our heads, applying those blueprints to your AWS architecture is actually surprisingly literal. Once you see it, the whole cloud environment just snaps perfectly into focus. Your virtual private cloud, or VPC, is exactly that campus concept. It's an isolated network that you design specifically for your AWS resources. The key takeaway here is that it doesn't belong to anyone else. It's your completely dedicated fenced-off perimeter in the cloud. Basically, it's a secure sandbox where you call all the shots. And this campus analogy is just brilliant for understanding how we actually zone that digital land. On one hand, you've got public subnets. These are built for things that absolutely need internet access, so they act exactly like those street-facing storefronts or public lobbies. But then, on the flip side, we have private subnets. These are for things that absolutely do not need and really shouldn't have direct internet access. We're talking your secure vaults, your internal databases, the hidden backlot buildings. By separating these out, you are literally dictating what the outside world can even see, let alone interact with. But hey, a functioning campus isn't just a bunch of static buildings, right? It's about how traffic moves between them and the outside world. And that's where controlled gateways come in. Think of these as the heavily guarded checkpoints at the front gates of your campus. These gateways actively decide what is allowed to get in or out of your isolated network. Even if you have a public subnet, the traffic still has to flow through these controlled gateways. You're always the one playing traffic cop, setting the rules and keeping that secure perimeter locked down tight. Now, inside those buildings, whether they're sitting right on the street or tucked safely away in the back lot, you've got your workers and machinery buzzing away, doing the actual valuable work for your business. In the cloud, these active resources are things like your EC2 instances, your Lambda functions, and ECS containers. They're the core operations running safely inside your virtual private cloud. So the VPC provides the secure, structured environment, and these resources bring the whole campus to life. So how does it all stack up? Let's look at the 3-layer security model. Remember our big question from the very start? How does the VPC fit with IAM and security groups? Well, this is where it all clicks together into one really robust 3-layer defense mechanism. Layer 1 is the VPC. That's the campus itself, the perimeter fence acting as your absolute first line of defense. Layer 2, those are your security groups. Think of them as the dedicated security guards standing outside specific buildings on the campus, checking the traffic, trying to get into an individual EC2 instance or database. And finally, Layer 3 is IAM, Identity and Access Management. IAM controls the ID badges used actually inside the buildings. So once someone gets past the campus gate and past the building guard, IAM decides if their specific badge actually lets them open a specific door inside. Campus, guards, badges, or VPC, security groups, IAM. When you design it right, it is an incredibly cohesive, impenetrable stack. Which brings us to your next VPC design. Because the VPC is the absolute foundation underneath everything else in your AWS architecture. Getting those blueprints right from day one is just absolutely critical. You are quite literally laying the concrete for everything else you're going to build in the cloud. If your campus layout is a mess, well, the building guards and ID badges can only do so much to save you. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. How would you design your VPC network? Knowing what you know now about public and private subnets, where exactly would you stash your most critical business assets? If you want to see a campus actually built step by step from scratch, do me a huge favor and comment VPC down below. We break down a new concept every single time here on AI Tech Hub, so make sure to follow, keep structuring that knowledge, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.